This is an Achille research and dissertation project. For more, here's Lou Jean Kennebrew.
Amani na Baraka. My name is Lou Jean Kennebrew Jr. I am a doctoral student in the Educational Leadership for Change program at Fielding Graduate University in Santa Barbara, California. The following presentation is titled Divine Memories. Using the EDD doctoral competencies as my framework, I will attempt to explore the Oblate African Descent Sisterhood and their likely impact on the students of Trenton, New Jersey's first Black Catholic learning institution, Our Lady of the Divine Shepherd. My longtime music production partner, Kyle T. Moore, and myself are Divine Shepherd alumni. Today we are meeting Reverend Dr. Frank Smart, awesome pastor of the Mount Zion AME Church in Trenton, New Jersey. Pastor Smart has graciously agreed to open the doors of the school to let us take a walk back down memory lane.
Why was funding not distributed to the inner cities when you have inner city kids wanting to go to Catholic schools and wanting to get education and the structural values of what Catholic school teaches them, and they weren't offered that opportunity, or they were merged for profit.
It's been more than 38 years since we were inside the school. Over the course of that time, there have been a number of structural inequalities that contributed to Trenton's first Black Catholic learning institution closing. The last night we went riding through heaven. This is my 8th grade classroom. My 8th grade teacher was Miss Lee. My seat was right next to this window.
That's where most of the activities in Trenton were concentrated at Our Ladies. They had a whole lot of stuff going on.
Because we had a lot of people in that neighborhood. We all grew up in North Trenton.
That's right.
It was later that the kids came from East Trenton and West Trenton, but most of the kids that started there were North Trenton kids.
Like a private school.
It was considered
like
a private charter school.
Then would send their kids to the public school.
I think was the juniors one
Junior 5. It was Lincoln School.
It was Lincoln
on Montgomery, and then Junior 1 up on Southern.
Okay.
Which is where I went when I finished 8th grade.
Journal articles by Dr. Derek Albert Bell Jr. and Dr. Gloria Latson Billings are used to strengthen the arguments I pose in my written composition. Additional works in my review of literature include A Different View of Urban Schools by Dr. Kitty Kelly Epstein, Growing Up African American and Catholic Schools by Jacqueline Jordan Irvine and Michelle Forrester, Nobody by Dr. Mark Lamont Hill, The New Jim Crow by Michelle Alexander, and Democracy in Black by Dr. Eddie S. Glaude Jr. During the course of my research, I had the pleasure of interviewing Miss Joan Hall, Miss Barbara N. Lee, and Miss Lorraine Dolores Hall, all former educators and parishioners of Our Lady of the Divine Shepherd.
Yeah, and then too, it was the attitude of some of them too, because they were upset because a lot of those children were Catholics that were in the Catholic schools. They were upset because they weren't Catholic.
Right. And they felt like they didn't want to spend the money. But they didn't look at the other piece where they were gaining Catholics.
They were instilling in them Catholic values.
Right.
That they could carry on into their adulthood, and possibly they might be baptized.
The Divine Memories presentation is part of my Achille research and dissertation project. Achille is the Swahili word for mindfulness. The Achille pedagogy synthesizes mindfulness, music, advanced film and media technology, and more critically, African-centered principles. These elements are then formulated into lesson plans and presentations designed to provide effective, data-driven instruction for students K through 12 as well as adult learners.
The bishop house was 5 minutes drive from here. He said he doesn't want to live in Trenton, so he bought a house in Lawrenceville. He's a pastor in Michigan Diocese.
Out of 100
136
and
years.
36
Not
years.
even one African American priest in this diocese. You see, we have the Pope, the Bishop. In the diocese, the Bishop is the president. The pastor is the secretary to the Bishop. And he's in charge of the parish, the locality. And we have been serving them since 1941.
Since 1941.
So our last year will be June 30th.
One of the primary EDD doctoral level competencies used in this presentation is effective communication and scholarly discourse other than through scholarly writing, conveying information through dialogue, virtual media, arts-based projects that is readily understood by multiple audiences.
It was a slow death notice for them because the schools is what provided the tuition, which provided the parish to survive. But once you shut the schools, you don't have that stream of money coming in. So
the parish is just on its own with the
congregation. Right, with the congregation. And, the inner city needs places like this because without this, you can't get this everywhere. It was, I would say, maybe one of two,
Right.
Along with Cathedral. But, Our Lady was unique because, all of the nuns were black.
Right.
Even lay teachers that they brought in, you had a system where you saw people that looked like you teaching you. And that's a big thing. You have to, now you don't have that, and that was something that, was definitely, that wasn't something that was unnoticed growing up. So people sent their kids to Our Ladies because of the fact that they had nuns that were African American.
So many of the kids that went to Our Ladies did very well. We had doctors, and we had lawyers, we had teachers, and social workers.
Everybody finished high school.
Everybody finished high school
and higher education.
Right, went on to higher education. Right.
Kyle T. Moore gave a more in-depth reflection on some of the causes he felt attributed to Our Lady of the Divine Shepherd. Closing.
And like the demographic of the student body was predominantly African.
100%.
Right.
When I was here, we didn't have any white or Hispanic students. And you were learning from black teachers.
Right.
And the nuns who came here, they're from the Oblate Sisters order from Baltimore.
Okay.
So which is still in existence today.
One of the interesting complexities for parents sending their students to Our Lady of the Divine Shepherd was that although they wanted the experience for their children of being educated by black nuns, many were reluctant to convert their children to Catholicism.
But, that provided something that you couldn't get anywhere else. Education taught to black people by black people. Today, more than ever, I think that's needed, because people don't have the same perspective as you sometimes where they're teaching and they can't see if you're going through something or something's bothering you or, the demographics of your neighborhood.
When we were kind of looking at how the school just kind of it started to lose students, or it kind of changes it? Was that because of the neighborhood changed, or was it just
Some of it was charter school. Some of it was charter school.
Charter schools came in,
Yes,
and the
exactly.
people were like, "Oh, the charter school is better than Our Lady Divine
Right,
Shepherd."
That's the idea.
See, this is what people think.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So Our Ladies just didn't have this building behind you. We had
There was a building on the corner.
There's a
which
building
was
up here on the corner.
which is vacant now, which was our nursery school.
Right.
And it was 3 floors. And right behind you, where you're standing, we had a auxiliary building also, which also housed lower level, first, second grade kids, and along with the convent there. And that was the amount of enrollment that we had.
Right.
So the enrollment was kind of high to have 3 buildings, all of them full,
Right.
where they had to rent the building here to house kids in the first and second grade. Even in the upper levels, we still had 2 7th grade classes, and things like so. The enrollment was there. It's just that, after a while, when funding doesn't come for whatever reason, decisions have to be made.
My attempt to explore this complexity and the others within this research project is associated with leadership and change agentry, leading socially and ecologically for just change. What is critical to consider is the experience of having nuns of African descent provide effective data-driven instruction, social and emotional learning development, and evidence-based success through their methodologies and pedagogies is in and of itself an anomaly, especially when one considers the structural inequalities many marginalized children are facing in today's urban education landscape.
So,
Remember who your coach was?
Mr. Dent and Mr. Blackwell, James Archie Dent and Harry Blackwell.
Mr. Cole's
Blackwell's
husband.
Betty
Isn't that
Black-
Joe Carolyn's first husband? Yeah.
Yeah, Mr. Archie Dent. Yeah,
Chubby Black.
and Chubby Blackwell. The whole piece with the basketball, that was like an instrumental thing where you had like African American men
Right.
shaping and developing. Like it went past just
Just
basketball.
Yeah, they were mentors to those
Yes.
kids, really.
The doctoral competency, user of research studies, critically evaluating research to determine its utility for theory building, further research, and practice. I utilize this particular competency in my research of Catholic schools and the education of minority students.
This predominantly African American learning institution, African American nuns, African American nuns, Costa Rican, and so forth, can kind of be, kind of let go, just to kind of fend for themselves.
Yeah.
And then you go maybe 4 or 5 miles, down the road there, and you're gonna see some magnificent Catholic institutions, learning institutions, are still thriving today.
Yeah, still thriving today. St. Anne's, St. Rayfield, Incarnation.
Incarnation. I'm sorry.
So you have. It's funny because even if you look at like St. Rayfield's and stuff like that, they are thriving very well.
Is that primarily Hispanic or?
No, it's primarily Caucasian.
Caucasian, okay.
But nothing in the inner city. There's no Catholic schools in the inner city anymore. There's no Catholic churches in the inner city. No, Our Ladies, and what they finally did was they merged them with Blessed Sacrament, and they just shut in March. St. Joseph's is no longer.
St. Joseph's was
Mount Carmel is no longer. And St. James around the corner is no longer.
Okay.
So they're all on the outskirts of the inner city. There's no Sacred Heart no longer. So they're all on the outskirts of the city, and nothing within the city providing that type of educational opportunity.
So that's an even bigger disparity, because now you're not just so you're not only talking about our school, but it's fair to say that the 5 or 6 primary, predominantly African American student body Catholic school institutions,
Yeah, people of color.
people
Yeah.
of color,
Yeah.
no more.
No more.
Now last night we went riding through heaven with an angel of the Lord as our guide. We saw some loved ones, we saw some friends, saw folk we ain't seen since I don't know when. Now last night before I went to bed I looked at the pictures of my family scrapbook. Yeah. Pictures of my uncle, pictures of my auntie, my little cousins, big mom and granddaddy. All right. Straight tripping on the clothes we used to wear.
I remember my music teachers that were there were Mr. Goings and Mr. Seymour.
Seymour, yeah.
Yeah.
That's going back now.
Well, that was back in the 80s.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Both of them died. First Mr. Goins, and then
Seymour.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And they all died young.
yes,
Yeah. Their 40s, and
40s.
Charles was younger than that. Charles, I think, was younger than
He
that.
had congestive heart failure.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Designing and conducting research, producing competent research. This particular doctoral competency I utilized to explore data that would show the Oblate Sisters' percentage on retention and successful graduation. The extended documentary will feature interviews from current Oblate Sisters, administrators, and educators, of whom I will ask critical questions to gain a clearer insight of the percentages and statistics previously mentioned. Social justice and diversity, demonstrating an informed awareness of local and global social justice and diversity issues, as well as a commitment to work toward resolution that includes praxis. This particular doctoral competency speaks the greatest to the research work presented here. One of the critical questions I will seek to have answered during my interview with the Oblate Sisters is, what, if any, were the likely effects of the Brown v. Board decision on Our Lady of the Divine Shepherd Learning Institution? Historians note that from 1941 to 1956, Our Lady of the Divine Shepherd had Franciscan nuns as the primary educators. Several years after the Brown v. Board decision, the Oblate Sisters were sent to Trenton, New Jersey to evangelize and educate.
There were a lot of factors, but we just, always felt that it was a unique school and they should have given more help.
For many years, the social and economic landscape surrounding Our Lady of the Divine Shepherd was comprised of thriving Black-owned and operated businesses. In the span of 4 blocks, there were several grocery stores which provided daily fresh produce. There were numerous retail shops, bookstores, music stores, florists, furniture stores, car dealerships. When one thinks of the competency change agentry, what comes to mind is the principle of being able to be the voice of the voiceless, to utilize all the educational leadership for change doctoral competencies in order to encourage, inspire, educate, and broaden the awareness of others as well as myself. Similarly to the others who offered their reflections in this research presentation, I too can say that the Oblate Sisters offered a wealth of empathy and equity-based learning. Make no mistake about it, the behavioral expectation was set from the door. However, among the many reflections expressed in this research presentation, essentially spanning from 1956 to 1979, there was not one mention of any personal or known adverse or improper student experience. On the contrary, the social and emotional developmental learning, the empathy, the equity, nurturing, and compassion I experienced from pre-K to 8th grade as a student of the Oblate African Descent Sisterhood prepared me to succeed professionally, personally, and even more critically, scholarly. My name is Eugene Kinnebrew Jr. Until the next you and I meet, keep your mindset global and your love universal.
This has been a component of the Achille Research and Dissertation Project. Achille Research is conducted by doctoral student Eugene Kinnebrew of Fielding Graduate University, Santa Barbara, California.